You're listening to Circuit and 20 Raven Conversations with Sparky.
And welcome to the podcast. This is the third episode, and today I am joined by Gabriel Green.
That is correct.
Yep, it is nice for you to be here. Would you mind explaining what your major is?
Yeah, I'm one of Sparky's classmates. We shared the same major of mass communications. Is that correct?
No, I'm a theater major.
Theater major. Okay. Well, I stand corrected. Sorry to give me better.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm mass communications, and that was something I chose going into my junior year. I was quite unsure until that point what exactly I wanted to do. And it turned out that I speak too much in general, so might as well get paid for it.
Don't we all? So, so what made you choose this major?
Particularly the skill sets that that we get to teach here. So there's a lot of classes that they offer on both speaking well, writing well, how to present yourself well, and how to apply that in a business world. Mm-hmm. So using that as kind of like being a representing voice for a company, maybe making your own brand. These are the type of things that are kind of offered in the mass communications department. Even going so far as sports broadcasting and radio broadcasting, stuff like that. I think I've touched about almost every aspect of this major since being here in the department in the past 3 semesters that I've been taking mass communications classes here.
Wow.
And I've had a lot of fun. It's opened up a lot of opportunities. Naturally, just this semester, I was able to go and be a sports broadcaster for halftime and post-game interviews with students at a lot of Blue Valley schools in the KC area through sportscaster.com. So that was a lot of fun.
Thanks. So you're like big into this. You're like...
I definitely tried to apply myself a little bit. A lot of things fell into my hands though. So It was very convenient. I think the department gives me a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Is there anything in the future you intend to use this major for?
Nothing in particular. So I'm keeping my eyes open right now. So I've been trying to test out multiple different things. Would that be in sports broadcasting? Would that be in writing? I don't see myself as a journalism per se, because I think the world of being a journalist is a little unpredictable. Yeah. And not something that I find my charism specifically is tailored to. But I definitely really enjoyed all the skill sets that this mass communications degree is helping me teach. So I could definitely see myself in the future being a spokesperson. I would love to be able to represent people, whether that be on a political stage, whether that be on a business stage, or maybe even just be a personality. That is something I'm open to. So I'm just going to keep it up to God for that one.
Okay, yeah. Would you say there was anyone who inspired you to?
Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe?
100% Mike Rowe.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to school, and as an undergrad, I believe he was a theater kid. And that was his thing. So he did choir, he was doing theater, and he just kind of fell in love with the whole theatrics of it and being able to perform for people. And what he did with that is that he used that for advocacy. It's specifically for blue-collar jobs. So you've probably seen Dirty Jobs.
Yes.
That's a fantastic show where he just goes about showing these jobs that people don't normally see, or maybe they see it but don't even think about it, such as, the trash services, sewer maintainers, dams. I mean, getting cows pregnant. I mean, he's done absolutely everything on the show. But
I think I've seen that episode.
Yeah, he's done a lot of it. But what his goal there is not only just to give entertainment around these industries, but also bring awareness to them, because these are the industries, these type of works, electricians, plumbers, all these type of jobs. They uphold society that we have. They're the silent workers. You don't really think about them. They don't talk too loud. But they're underneath you. They're over you on the power lines, making sure that everything that you take for granted on a daily basis is maintained. And Micro also has a foundation that also helps sponsor younger people into getting into these blue-collar jobs. Because currently in society, most people are just kind of funneled into college. You can't do anything until you get a college degree. And Micro wants to offer an alternative, like the trades. So I really love Mike Rowe, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Do you have any other ambitions that you have here at Benedictine, besides the whole voice?
Honestly, it's a one on the spiritual level, because
Yeah.
I feel like here at Benedictine, this is the most Catholic place in the country, or at least the most Catholic place I've ever experienced.
Absolutely.
I'm a transfer from a different college.
Oh.
Previously, I went to University of Tennessee, Knoxville, in my home state, and I loved it for football. Other than that, everything else wasn't quite exactly lining up with my own personal identity, especially that as a Catholic. So coming here at Benedictine after taking a gap year between UT and now BC, I have been able to experience a much deeper opportunity for prayer life that I don't think I'd be able to find anywhere else in this country, except maybe like Ave Maria or Christendom or Thomas Aquinas, some of these great schools there. But I feel like Benedictine does a very good job of mixing spirituality with practicality, offering very applicable majors compared to the other liberal arts schools that are also Catholic in this country. So that's another motivator for me being at this school, is definitely the spirituality part of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let me see here. What is the best compliment you've ever received about your stuff?
Oh, goodness. What's the best compliment I've ever received?
Sorry, this is very unexpected.
Yeah, no, I'll have to. That's certainly. I have to chew on that one.
Yeah, we can come back to that.
Sure,
later
I'll
if
think
you want.
about it. I'll think about it.
Would you say how would you say you changed since your past self at Benedictine?
Oh, that's a good question. Almost every aspect of me has been improved to pretty good extent. So that sees, I think, probably 3 or 4 different levels. One is social. Coming here, I've been able to meet a lot of friends who share very similar goals of primarily getting to heaven first. So prioritizing spirituality. This has been something that's been very good for my soul, because a happy soul is going to be the happiest of your life. You could be homeless, but as long as you got Christ in your soul, you're going to be doing okay. Mm-hmm. So being able to meet friends who share the same ambition for Christ as I do, and being able to challenge me to also be more ambitious, has definitely been huge for me. But that's the social side. Athletically, this is a huge athletic school, and I came in here, did wrestling for a year and about a half, tore my ACL. That kind of helped influence getting me out of wrestling, unfortunately. Then picked up rugby. I'm a bit of a part-time rugby player. I primarily am on the cheerleading team, so that takes up most of my time. So I can't spend a lot of time playing rugby. But I also think rugby's that's a club sport. It should be. I hope it becomes a varsity sport one day, because it's a lot of fun and it's well run.
It should.
And good culture there. Yeah. So the athletics culture there is not only just like all about becoming the best athlete, but also a very good character, such as the NAIA, the Heart of America Conference, Hearts on the Champions of Character. So they do a very good job at every athletics department that I have been a part of since being here at Benedictine, of upholding those values. It's a very value-driven school. And then we already talked about, so like that's social, that's athletics, spirituality I already touched on in the previous question. And then lastly would be academics. I feel like here at the school, so like I said before, I was at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and there are about 35,000 undergraduate students there. It's a big school. So the faculty to student ratio was enormous. And I felt like I wasn't able to really develop a personal relationship with a lot of my professors there. Mm-hmm. However, being here at Benedictine, I felt like in every single one of my classes, I would have been able to develop a personal relationship with all of my professors. And they genuinely have a ambition for their students. They want to see them succeed. They want to grow the minds of the students here. And so I do have to applaud Benedictine for the faculty that they've been able to hire for this campus.
Yeah, that's great. I every so often I ask like an icebreaker question to kind of like settle down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, what animal would you see yourself being if you were an animal?
Okay. Well, I think one that I would love to be would definitely be a peregrine falcon, because they're super cool and they're fast and they're just majestic, and their call is just a great eagle. Well, it's not an eagle screech, but they kind of use that in movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. However, if I wanted to be realistic, it's probably going to be a golden retriever, or with like a slight mix of a Belgian Malinois.
I can see it a little bit.
I get along. I try to get along with everybody. I try to be kind of laissez-faire. I let everybody kind of have fun with everyone. And so golden retriever. I've been told many times that I give off golden retriever energy. So if I have to be realistic, it's gonna be golden retriever.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. So for my listeners, would you say that is there any advice you have for people who are doing the same major as you?
Same major as me. So it's other mass communications guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say definitely get out and look around the KC area for opportunities, whether that be in other radio stations, at news, journalism organizations as well. Just see if you can get an internship around there and ask how to help out and see how they run things. You can't replace experience. You can educate yourself, but experience gets you so much further. I think with sports broadcasting, I took a class on it and it was very informative, but I really didn't quite learn how to do it and how to do it well until I actually started doing it with sportscaster.com, because being able in the field, on the football field, at the end zone, under a tent with a headset and notes and rosters and trying to figure out what players what their records were, how to ask questions for these students who are coming down and talking the post game, how to talk to players. That's something that you could prepare for with all the YouTube videos you want or classes you want, but doing it in practice is going to be way better than theory.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you want to be remembered? It's if this is a question you have to think about, it's okay.
Oh, I think I can answer this one a little easier than the compliment one.
Okay.
Yeah, so something at Benedictine that's definitely transformed me over the years is that when I came here to Benedictine, I was thinking a lot of how can I have Benedictine serve me? How can I become a better asset in the workforce? How can I make more money? How can I support a family? These type of things that I kind of thought about a lot, which are very important questions to ask, especially going into young adulthood, early to mid 20s, and trying to figure out, how you're going to live in this capitalistic society, which is, you got to ask these questions. You got to train. You got to get ahead of the curve before the curve, runs you over. So, but something that's definitely changed since being here is that I've realized the temporariness, if that's a word, of the temporal aspect of life, that it is very short, 80 to 90 years if you're lucky. And people are not going to remember you so much for what your skills were per se, but maybe how you impacted them. So something I really want to be able to do in my life is impact people in such a way that leaves them changed. And but I really personally do not really care if I myself change them. I want Christ to change them. I feel like that's where the most amount of success for anybody is going to have. If I can do my best as a disciple of God, when I am a fallen creature, I am probably the worst among them when it comes to doing this. I can name my vices all day when we talk about them. If I can be able to perfect reflecting Christ in my daily interactions with people, so that when they are done talking with me, or that when my grandkids get stories from me when I'm older, I cannot wait till I'm granddad telling stories. I really can. Or God willing, if I was called to priesthood, and then my sermons, if any of these things were, I'd want people to take away from them. It's not something that I said, but something that God was able to work with inside them. So it's really not what I want. It's what I want God for them. What I want God to do for them, really.
Okay, yeah, and that's very true. God is there for all of us.
Absolutely.
He is the turning point. So you mentioned before that you were kind of put into the newscaster kind of thing for the sporting events. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, it was called sportscasting at the time.
Yeah. Was there anything about that surprised you that you weren't expecting?
I don't think I was necessarily surprised by anything, that as I was just exposed to how the inner workings of it was. I felt like I kind of had a pretty good idea of how things kind of work behind the end, because I did have a sportscasting class, or sports broadcasting class before actually even going to go do this. So I was made aware of a lot of the things that are done, like depth charts and rosters, and I know how football works. So a lot of these things, and I've speak to a lot of people, so I know how to, interpersonal skills. So none of it really surprised me, but I didn't really know how it would go down, and you had to think pretty fast on the fly, because high school games in the KC, Kansas and Missouri area are 14-minute quarters, and the clock barely stops. So they're very fast. The games are just and there's no media timeouts, or there's very few media timeouts. I think they had a 2-minute, at the 2-minute timer, or 2-minute clock timeout was really the only other timeout besides manual ones from the coaches. So nothing really surprised me, but it was a really fast pace, being able to think quickly and trying to educate yourself on a school and be flexible with what their kind of night was, whether it's senior night or homecoming night. It was something that definitely taught a lot of flexibility. And since sports broadcasting, since I was doing with high schoolers, I had to get really good at asking questions as opposed to just spouting information. So being able to, that's probably the biggest thing that I learned, was being able to formulate questions so that I can set up other people to speak and let their voice be heard. Because it's really not about me, it was about the kids. Mm-hmm. So that was my job, being able to give them good questions so that they can think about it themselves and release the information for the KCMO 95.7 listeners and eventually the sportscaster.com listeners. So
yeah. All right, well, thank you for coming on to this, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we will see you in the next episode.